What's up? Zed here, back with another review of a movie that I just saw yesterday. It's called Predator Badlands. Now, I went to see this movie without any concept, and I did not see any trailer to this movie, so I just went in there blindly to see what's going on in this movie. So the movie starts off with going into the planet. I forgot what the planet was called, but it's the planet where the Yachoid lives at. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. But it starts off with these two brothers practicing the hunt. And one of them is called Deck and Quay or Qui, however you pronounce it. So after their training was done, their father shows up, and then pretty much Deck, the main character of the movie, is the black sheep of the clan that he's in. To which point that the dad just really just wanted to get rid of him completely because he finds him the weakest of his clan, of his family member. To which Quay ends up saving him and, sacrificing himself to throw him on his ship and then send him to the planet where Deck wanted to hunt to prove his family that, he's not the weakest. Soon as Deck arrives to the planet Jenna, that starts with a G, he pretty much ends up in a area where he's a level, I would say like he's a level 15 at a level 99 area, pretty much, because everything in that planet just wants to kill him, like anything anywhere that he goes, like something's always attacking him. As soon as he lands on that planet, there's these like vines already starting attacking him, and he ends up escaping, but he ends up like losing the majority of his tools that he had or once he arrived at that planet. As soon as he starts progressing through the planet to like check the environment, he ends up bumping into a robot named Thea, who is also part of the Wayland Yutani corporations. And for those who don't know who that is, that's the company that you know from the Alien movies, or mostly speaking, like have you seen Alien versus Predator? Afterwards, he ends up helping Thea out, and then Thea ends up saving him because he was also being attacked by this flying. I think it looked like a flying, like a raptor in a way. Soon as he gets saved by Thea, he ends up becoming partners with it because he ends up thinking that as Thea as the robot as a tool to help him go progress to find his mark, to prove to his family that he wants to that he's not the weakest, which is called the Calisk. The Calisk, I think it was. And it shows like a moment too where they're like traveling together, but it also gives off like a Death Stranding type of vibe because it kept showing like the environment as they keep making progress to walking around to the planet. They end up going to this grassy area, which we find out that that's where the Callus actually hunts. But as soon as Deck was trying to go attack one of the creatures that is there, turns out that the area that he was at is grass, but it's sharp grass. So pretty much like even if he touches it, it's gonna cut him. So he has no way of getting the one of the creatures that was there to help him to feed off of. And he ends up finding another creature that was there that also was trying to hunt. Also, that's pretty much smaller than him, which looks like a baby of looks like an ape in a way. And then the minute that they found out that creature that he was trying to hunt to feed off of ends up trying to attack him, ironically enough. Afterwards, he ends up trying to he kills it just to be attacked by yet another freaking creature that was also hanging by the trees. And then the baby ape that was there ends up saving them because the skin its skin is actually harder than like diamonds, so it pretty much broke the teeth of whatever plant creature that was there. And they end up it ends up tagging along with Deck and Thea along to their journey. Afterwards, throughout the entirety of the film, they end up befriending each other and trying to understand. But the baby ape-like creature ends up, mimicking Deck's movement because of how it already treats it as if it's one of its own by spitting on it. Ironically enough, for some unknown reason, it just spat in his face, which Deck also got mad at it because it was just looking at it like, why did it spit on me? We cut through halfway through the movie. We cut through the fact that it goes to the one of the sites that Thea was at, there where it got attacked last by the Kalisk. So she ends up trying to find one of her legs that was there that was still in one piece, and she also Deck ends up helping her, trying to put it back in place by taking it to a machine that helps her repair it. Afterwards, Deck ends up blowing up one of the explosives, looked like a explosive gas canister, which alerted the cast to go attack it. It becomes like a crazy battle. Crazy battle ensues. He ends up chopping the cast's head off to find out that the cast actually has a very unique regenerative ability, which it can't die. So even if you cut the thing, cut in so many pieces, it's going to repair itself back in one piece. Afterwards, the one of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation robots ends up finding Thea's location, because Thea actually alerted them to her location. To which point that her sister also looks like Thea in a way, ends up, capturing the Kalisk and also captured Deck for experiments. And they also, because of the Kalisk's unique healing abilities, they want to use it to help, to help the humans in Wayland to recover from like limbs being cut off or anything in general. Thea finds out the fact that they were just gonna kill the Kalisk for experiments purposes, that she ends up freeing Deck from the ship that he was being captured on. And then we cut back to where Deck ends up finding the location where he found the ape-like baby ape, which they named Buddy. Sorry for not putting the name out there. Just to find out that Buddy is actually a baby version of the Kalisk that they captured, and that was the mom that they took. So then we cut back to Deck going back to the environments that he was being attacked at, ends up trying to adapt to it and use it for his own benefit to pretty much help Thea and free the Kalisk from not being taken off on the planet. And then we cut back to the movie, and it shows Deck, fighting, doing a stealth mission, trying to go help out, rescue Thea and the Kalisk. To which point that it got to the point where even his sneaking mission ends up becoming running and gunning. So now he's trying to take out as much of those robotic synths as much as he can, in the most violent way possible to put them down. Thea's sister Tessa comes out of nowhere and actually comes in a robotic in a mech in a way to try to attack Deck to just get rid of him. And she ends up trying to using one of his tools to get rid of him, to the point where that Thea ends up freeing the Kalisk and becomes a creature robot fight, to which the Kalisk actually ends up eating Tessa whole. And just when you think the smoke is cleared out and everything, the Kalisk actually ends up dying because Tessa actually had these ice bombs in the on her, which ends up actually killing it, because since it's already frozen, can't really regenerate from anything that was frozen. To which Deck got mad at that and ends up killing Tessa for doing so. And afterwards, towards the end of the movie, he ends up going back to his home planet to prove his dad that he actually finished his hunt, and he wants his cloak now for proving it. But because his dad still finds him weak and just disapproves of him, he sends two other Yadror soldiers to attack him. But Deck ends up finishing off those soldiers with ease, and now it's pretty much Deck and his father trying to fight each other. And so far, it almost became one-sided because he was actually having troubles fighting his dad, but he ended up tricking his dad, and he ends up taking his trap, what's it called, it's like a trapper device, and ends up trapping his dad, like tied up. He actually has his dad tied up. So his dad pretty much makes tries to strike a deal with him to release him, and then he'll be back in the clan. To which Deck just didn't listen and ends up chopping his head off, and then tries to, show to his old clans that that he's not weak. And then the movie pretty much ends off with showing a ship rising up from the ground, and then Thea asks Deck if that's one of his friends, and Deck pretty much says no, that's his mom. And the movie cuts off to black and ends up right there. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a sequel if it does do good in sales. And overall, I give this movie a 4 stars out of 5. I was very entertained. Definitely recommend it if you are a huge Predator fans out there, especially with like Prey. Especially if you're a fan of Prey and Killer of Killers, definitely recommend it. Anyways, this is it. Take care, everyone.